Hi, in this video we're gonna be talking about atmospheric pads in Ableton Live. I'm gonna use just stock presets and instruments from Ableton, so this tutorial is beginner friendly. The first pad consists of 3 layers. The first layer is basically the high end of the sound, as you can see with this EQ. So for this one you need to grab a wavetable in the instruments folder. I wrote this simple chord progression just to have some kind of a bass to work on, lower the frequency of the sound and add some resonance. Then you can just change the sine wave to the one that you enjoy and like. Usually I like to use some complex sounds or something out of harmonic, so I used sines 3 and made it somewhere like here. Then make attack and release longer, so it will sound like a pad. In the Matrix tab, add some LFO for additional movement. You can add additional sub and put it an octave down. Then I added the second oscillator and changed the sine wave to my preference. Without resonance it sounds softer, which I prefer honestly. Additionally, I added some unison in the shimmer mode, added some voices. For additional warmth of the sound, I also added cabinet in the post-processing chain, so it sounds more softer. And additionally, I used some EQ8 to boost up some high end of the sound. The second pad in the group is just the duplicate of the first one. The only thing I did is just to change some EQ, and I lowered these notes an octave lower, so it sounds more bassy. The third pad is also a duplicate of the first one, but I added some erosion with white noise to make this shimmer effect, like the background noise, which gives texture to the overall pads. And I EQ'd it additionally to bring up all those noises in the mid-range. And altogether, the second pad. So I just took the vocal hit here, and then this vocal hit I just put into a sampler. Choose these modes in sustain and release, so the sound will go back and forth. Add additional crossfade so it doesn't sound snappy. The attack and release are longer. You can use additional filtering in order to shave off the high frequencies, put on additional reverb, some utility in order to make sound wider, and with EQ you can shave off lower and high end. The second layer is just for texture. The chords are in D sharp and C sharp. The bass notes are basically the same, just one octave lower, and I boosted the low end of the sound. And in reverb, as you can see, I also did like reverb on the low end of the sound as well. And on the entire group I have like this cabinet, the same thing that was in the first pad, just adds additional warmth to the sound. In the third pad I used the analog from the instrument tab. The things that I changed here were frequency. I lowered the frequency down. I made resonance a little bit higher. And as you can see, the oscillators have the similar shape to all the pads, with long attack and long release, as I already told you. Add additional vibrato, and everything else is just post-processing. Chorus adds additional presence to the sound. You can use delay or not. Actually, delay is already in the chorus section. Additional reverb on the high end to make this dreamy effect, and utility to add additional width to the sound and a little bit of gain. And those gaps between chords give additional air to the sound. And the second layer is just bass notes, which are put 2 octaves lower. Almost like Blade Runner, some kind of synth. The only thing that stands out in the second layer is additional noise in the synth, which I made a little bit brighter and higher, like 2 decibels maybe. Without amplifier, it doesn't sound that bright or wide. And the amplifier just adds more volume to the sound, more presence in the mix. Additional low-end reverb with a higher decay time, around like 5-7 seconds. And additional utility for width of the sound. Add different effects on the entire group. Here, as you can see, I used auto filter to shave off all the high end of the sound, and additional erosion to give it a little bit of background noise or texture as well. So if you're making pads, additional textures, noises, and background stuff will give depth to your sound. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.